Well, it was 1 week ago today that we looked up at this tree and saw beautiful orange leaves, and now 1 week later the leaves are all gone, and getting little bits of snow coming down. It's October 29th, 2023, in the year of our Lord, here in rural Retreat, Virginia. And let's get into the Halloween spirit and look at some funny books and monster magazines and whatever else we can find. So come on in, ladies and gentlemen, to the Hotel Orloff. Remember that good times begin with Dr. Pepper. Today's light and lively taste for the now generation. So come on in to the lobby of the Hotel Orloff. Okay, we gotta feed the dog, ladies and gentlemen. And when it's time to feed the dog, make sure you get Kaiser brand, all real dogs. All real American dogs love Caesar. All right. She will dig that, man. She'll dig it the most. And we got trick-or-treaters coming in a little bit. Hold on a second, ladies and gentlemen. This is a wonderful album you can listen to on YouTube. Oh, my low battery. Let me show you a good website, a good YouTube channel to go to. It's this, all right, come on up. Sunny Boy 66. It's got all kinds of great albums that you can listen to. I'll show you a great one. Yeah, this one here. Various Halloween Nuggets, Monsters 60s, A Go-Go 50s and 60s. This is a CD box set, but here you can just listen to 3 hours and 33 minutes for free here without having to pay $40 for that box set. Or it was pretty expensive. My wife bought it about a few years ago. So it looks like that. So you can listen to lots of great Halloween music. Right, what I'm doing right now is Donald Trump is about to speak in Sioux City, Iowa. So I'm going to record that. So I go to Right Side Broadcasting here. Oh, this looks like they've already started going live here. Have they? Hear the sounds of the boiler going. Yeah, because it's a cold day out there. Ain't a fit day for man nor beast. So Trump's going to start talking soon. So I'll go ahead and start recording that with my DVD-R. And we can go on upstairs and get plugged in and tuned in and look at some comic books. So okay. Okay, we better get you guys plugged in soon because this phone is about to die of lack of electricity. Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen. I meant to say shoot. Sorry about that. All right, there we go. We're plugged in now. You guys got to stop falling over like that. It's embarrassing. All right. Let me get some lights going here. Okay. One moment. It still says low battery? Why is that? Why is it saying low battery when I have you plugged in? I don't know, man. Oh, we need more light. Here. Okay. I caught you before you hit the ground. What is going on with this cord? Okay. Let's see what I can show you. Oh. This is a book I got in, I can't remember if I got this in 3rd grade or 4th grade. Monsters Who's Who. It's a book from England. So, it apparently set my parents back $4.98. It has, Godzilla and standard things. But then it would also teach you about mythology, like the griffin and there would be all these mythological things like Orion and the cool thing is they included the Fantastic Four in there too. So I thought that was pretty great because this is right about the time I was discovering the Marvel superheroes. And it would put in this stuff from England, like the Daleks. That's the only way I knew about what Doctor Who was in the 70s. Is all these references to the Doctor Who show in here, because it's, like I said, a British book. Yeah. This is a great book. I don't, for those of you that care about collector value, I don't know if this is a valuable book. I kind of doubt it. Oh, look at this. Autographed picture of Spider-Man. But this is the Monsters Who's Who from Crescent. Who wrote this thing? Dulon Barber. Yeah, I looked at this book, 1974, printed in Great Britain. Yeah, it was a big deal. I got this at the North Star Mall in San Antonio, Texas. What else can I show you that will entertain you? Not much. What is this book? This is Driving Me Wild, Nitro-Powered Outlaw Culture. I forgot I had this book. So it is about all kinds of cool bands and hot rodding, and it's all about hot rod culture then and now. Now being the 1990s, I guess, when this came out. Oh, look at this. It's the Dracula scrapbook. This is inscribed to the original owner, May 22nd, 1978, for a fellow monster lover, Mr. R. So, I'm imagining this was given from a teacher to a student. I don't know who else calls themselves Mr. R. But I don't know. Could be anybody. Here's old Vlad the Impaler having breakfast while people slide further and further down the poles they've been impaled on. I've heard that Vlad the Impaler gets a bad rap, that he really wasn't. He was really a very well-loved leader, but people on the other side kind of wanted him to have that reputation. Who knows? I don't think the press would ever lie about someone, would they? I don't know. Could be. Could be. I was asked to show these rocket ships in more detail. I thought I'd done it before, so I'll do it now. This is a fake. This isn't a real old thing. It's made in a country that makes cheap things. And this was a gift. It's just a pen holder. There's a Tom Corbett Space Cadet thermos there, and that's kind of what we got here. There's the Hemisphere Tower. That was the World's Fair came to San Antonio when I was 3 or 4 years old, and that was always fun to go there on the weekend when we lived there. And I just got this magazine rack behind me that I filled with 70-year-old comics mostly, and that being said, having said that, let's move forward, ladies and gentlemen. You notice how often you hear the phrase "moving forward"? It's really kind of obnoxious. It's all part of the creeping socialism. People say, "But Gratu, you're just a conspiracy theorist." Well, you're just not paying attention. Okay, let's go into the other room and look at some comic books that will give you nightmares. Wait. Wait a second here. Oh, look what I've been doing. I've been covering the fronts of these boxes with the logo of the famous comic store Gotham City Comics in Mesa, Arizona. So I think it looks really cool. So Mesa, Arizona has a great comic store called Gotham City Comics, run by Kevin Johnson. You've got to stop in there and or give him a call, because it's not just a comic store. It's run by someone that is a fellow monster kid. So it's a comic store and a place where you can buy monster memorabilia and all kinds of pop culture stuff. So it's one of the great stores. Of course, yeah, it's one of the great ones. I'm trying to think what the best comic stores I've been to in my life have been. There was a great one in Austin, Texas called Austin Books. I think it's still there. It's got to still be there. And I went to a great one in Houston once. I don't remember what it's called. And of course, Lone Star Comics, when it first opened in the late 70s in Arlington, Texas, was a wonderful place. Because that was a wonderful time. It was just old comics, new comics, and science fiction paperbacks and magazines. And that was it. None of this other stuff. It was just very pure. So, we need some music. Just a moment, ladies and gentlemen. So how you guys been doing? It's been a long time since the last episode. It's October 29th, 2023. And I got this sticker from Kevin at Gotham City Comics. He sent this to me free, and I'm going to put it on the front of one of my prized comic boxes here. That's what I'm doing right at this moment. But I remember comic book purity before Dungeons and Dragons, before Funko Pops, before Pokemon and baseball cards. When this book was new, the price guide for 1976, when comic book collecting was still a fun thing to do, before the people that just collect for sport and not the love of the medium. I'm going to get this off. I'm going to keep it. May take the entire show, but I'm not going to stop, ladies and gentlemen. Why is it so difficult? Well, based on what I'm seeing in the, you can read the news yourself and see what they're pushing. But I would prepare for some rough times. Or things may just be wonderful. You know, I made a mistake the other day. I think I was on this show. Either I was telling my wife this, or I was telling it to you guys, because I don't talk to that many people. I said I was in the grocery store and I was hungry last Saturday, and there was some cookies there from the bakery, right? And I saw there weren't many cookies in there. It said it was $11.01. I'm thinking, oh, Joe Biden, $11.01. And then I was there today and I saw the cookies and I realized, oh, that's the expiration date. That's the cookies are good through November 1st, because I saw another one that said 11/10. Those were good through November 10th. So the cookies were actually $4.99. So inflation is terrible, but that I was wrong on that count. So I'll admit when I'm wrong. So Joe Biden, by gosh, he is doing a great job. I always thought he was the greatest president ever. I mean, he got more votes than any president in the history of the republic. He's just a great guy. I don't know how to do this, man. You know, Davy Crockett killed him a bar when he was only 3. Yeah, that's right. Oh, I got it. I'm not very coordinated. I never have been. Yes, indeed. Davy Crockett, king of the wild frontier, ladies and gentlemen. God. Okay. So, yes, these stickers look fantastic on the front of comic boxes. And now, on the front of this box are the gruesomes. This is one of my prized boxes that have the Comics Code Authority on the side. Let's see if Donald Trump started yet. Also, I want to see if it started snowing yet. Oh, and I'll show you all the candy I've got ready for the trick-or-treaters. They'll be coming in a few hours. What time is it now? Let's take a look. By the time this show uploads to YouTube, I'll probably already be distributing candy. It is now 1:20 as I film this. And here we are in Right Side Broadcasting, and love this channel. Okay, so we have this cauldron here filled with candy. This is, oh, we've got some gummy bears from Germany and some kind of pig flesh or something, and like Kit Kats, Hershey's. Yeah, we're going to be the people in the community that have all the good candy, man. So stop on by the Hotel Orloff here in Rural Retreat, Virginia. Oh, someone put up a new video on YouTube about Rural Retreat and about the Dr. Pepper connection with Rural Retreat. And they drive around the town. And yeah, it's a brand new video. It's just been up not too long. Rural Retreat, Virginia. Yes, indeed. Well, I promised last episode we could look at some Eerie Publications books, so let's do that. Everybody shows them, but I'll show my collection again for those of you interested. Come on, man. There we go. Make sure you go on YouTube, look at John Goris's channel. John, his last name is spelled Goras. If you're watching this, please go and subscribe to his channel and watch his videos, his animation. He's one of the greats. He just put up a video about Halloween that you will surely enjoy. Okay. Here's a book from the... I've shown you all this stuff before. This is black and white reprints. It's clear that they have access to the original art. Because back then, when this came out in 1993, you couldn't get reproductions this good without having the original art or a stat of the original art. If you didn't, it would want... Here's where they didn't have the original art. You can kind of tell it has a Xerox look. But this is number 11 of Tales Too Terrible to Tell, Terrorology, the Guide to Pre-Code Horror Comics. I like to get more, and they have scholarly articles about these books too. Yeah, I have more of that, but that's one I've got in this box. Okay, so Eerie Publications was Myron Foss was the publisher, and these are just great horror books that I first heard about in elementary school. Some kid found a store that sold these one of these books, and he was the hero of the playground because he had this book with this gory cover, and they were far gorier than this one. Let me show you. And everyone was like, "Where did you?" It was something more like this, you know. Where did you get that book, man? It's like he went to some sleazy convenience store, you know, not 7-Eleven, not Stop and Go, but there'd be these other ones that they would use, like these sleazy magazine distributors, and they'd get books like this in with the ultra gore. And you know all about these books. I'm sure you do. They were put out in the 60s and 70s, and they Warren Publications was doing started in the mid-60s, Creepy, and then Eerie magazine, and later Vampirella, and Creepy and Eerie were designed to pretty much be kind of what EC Comics was in the early 50s. They even used a lot of the original artists, at least at first, that had drawn for EC Comics in the early 50s. And other publishers tried to imitate. In the 70s, there were a lot of publishers trying to imitate Warren's formula. Look at that head being split in two. I think I just showed you these books just a few days ago, but I don't know for sure. I don't know. It's not like you watch every episode. So, anyway, Apparently, the thing everyone's doing is showing horror books right now because it's near Halloween, and I, I guess that's what people do. I show these books all year long on this channel, so if you like horror, subscribe to this channel. I might have some new viewers watching because I did an unboxing of a Sam Hain CD set in the last episode, so I noticed I got at least one new subscriber just a minute ago. I'm assuming it's because now when you search YouTube Sam Hain box set, my video comes up. So if you're into that, you're probably into all the stuff I'm into as far as horror. There's I'm trying to get some better light. Sorry, is this better? Maybe. I've got some natural light coming in from the window. Okay. Myron Foss was a little bit ballsy here. What year was this? I had a magnifying. I saw the where did it go? Magnifying glass. There it is. July '68. Yeah, I mean, he puts out a magazine, Tales from the Crypt. Now, Tales from the Crypt, even though Tales from the Crypt hadn't published since like 54, 55, William Gaines and EC Comics was technically, they were still in business, but they're publishing Mad. But he still owned Tales from the Crypt. He still owned the name, all the original art. And in '72, there was out of England from Amicus Films, there was a anthology film based on EC Comics called Tales from the Crypt, and then the follow-up to that was Vault of Horror. So anyway, they got a sternly worded letter, I'm sure, because then it rapidly became Tales from the Tomb. All right. He's dragging her caveman style into the crypt. So, what a lot of this was actual pre-code horror stories that were redrawn or that were traced, or they just used the original art and just drew blood in, more blood in. Sometimes they would update the hairstyles from the early 50s hairstyles and make the people's hair a little bit longer to reflect the late 60s or early 70s when this stuff was... but this was... these were not sought after until recently. They really weren't. There were just a few people like me that were into this stuff. And now there's a lot of people looking for these. But, you know, when I was looking for these, I was also getting Warren magazines, and those weren't sought after either, unless they had Frazetta covers. The stuff that I like has never been sought after by the masses. I've always been the guy that was looking for the weird stuff, you know. It's weird when the stuff that I like suddenly becomes popular. It's confusing. It's like when I was in high school, I listened to the most obscure music, and when something I like suddenly becomes popular, it's weird. You know, I was always into old rockabilly music, you know. And all of a sudden I'm in was I a junior? I was probably a senior in high school, and the Stray Cats hit the United States, you know. Well, they were an American band, but they became popular over in England. And in England and France, they worship our old culture. We forget about our old culture and dispose of it and listen to, you know, Cardi B or Taylor Swift. But over there, they remember how great the United States used to be, and they worship our cast-off culture. So over there, the Stray Cats became huge, and so all of a sudden, I wasn't such an outcast looking person, because all of a sudden what I liked was popular with that was a weird experience. Um, this cover is insane. Um, but you can see the artwork really has a 50s look to it, even though this is a May 1969 issue. So this is the magazine that would have been on the stands when the Woodstock Music Festival was happening. So I love this stuff, man. It's just something I love. Tales of Voodoo. This stuff must be in public domain completely now, because people publish bound sets of it without permission. I think it's all Guandanaland puts out a set. Pretty sure. Oh, and people have used the covers of these for DVD horror movie sets. I can show you what I'm talking about here in a second if I remember here in a minute. Okay. So, just a minute, ladies and gentlemen. I've been told that I'm insane also for listening to this music that you're hearing now. This is music from a label called Rinx, R-I-N-X. It was these 45s were distributed to roller rinks back in the 50s and 60s. So this is music made exclusively for you to roller skate to. I like it. Most people find it horrible. The guy that used to run Connoisseur's Groovy Oldies in Arlington, Texas, when he saw a record with the Rinx label, with the yellow Rinx label, he would snap it in half. He thought that there was just such garbage. But he was a guy that had been a greaser in the 50s. He was not into this music. Okay, so Tales of Voodoo. Thing is, they're not like, if you notice, the woman has fangs. So she's a vampire, and they're probably both vampires. The thing about these covers is usually it's not innocent people being ripped apart, and it's usually monsters fighting other monsters. It's like they don't get along well. They're like dogs and cats. The werewolves are always ripping the vampires apart. You can tell it's the 70s. The martial arts stuff was real big. Man, I can't tell you how much time I spent gazing at this Johnson Smith ad and all of this. So wonderful. Yes, indeed. Eerie Publications. This is one of the classic covers. This reminds me of Furr's Cafeteria. You ever heard of Furr's Cafeteria? When I was a little kid, there was Wyatt's Cafeteria in San Antonio. That was delicious. And if you ever watch King of the Hill, the Mike Judge cartoon, the daughter is named Lou Ann Platter. There was Wyatt's. Oh, I'm thinking of Luby's. Luby's was a Texas. There was Wyatt's. Luby's is the one I grew up with in San Antonio, and it was a Texas chain of cafeterias, and they had the Lou Ann Platter. It was that's what they had at Luby's. It was a special they had, and sure, that's why her name is Lou Ann Platter. Because Mike Judge is from. Oh, by the way, last episode I was had a brain fart because I was listening to Donald Trump, and then when Donald Trump ends speeches now. He always has Sam and Dave's "Hold On, I'm Coming" playing as he's exiting the stage. And then, for some reason, I was doing the show, and I couldn't think of Sam. I could think of Sam. I was about to say Sam. I don't know. I couldn't remember Sam. Sam and Dave are wonderful, and I don't know why my brain was. It's early dementia, ladies and gentlemen, more than likely. Yeah, my goodness. Oh man, look at that woman. Looks a little Joker-like. These books are a lot of fun. But I bought them at the right time, back when they were inexpensive. People say they're expensive now. I don't know. Terror Tales. Look, this is a beautiful cover. Look at that beautiful color. All right. I don't have a fantastic collection. I mean, Crypt Keeper of Castle Hills is saying he has 2 boxes of these. I just don't even have enough to fill 1 box. But over the many years, I've been buying every copy I could find. There's Barnabas Collins, and this is like a clipped together picture. That's, you can tell that's Jack Palance from the 1972 Dracula made-for-TV movie, and she kind of reminds me of Marlo Thomas and that girl. Except it would have been better if she looked like that in the show. Some of these aren't in the best of shape, but you know, get what you can find. Yeah, this one's been exposed to some moisture at some point. They always have the art go right onto the back cover, you know. It's just who used to do that back in the old days? Was that Dell that would do that? I think sometimes the art would just go into the back cover. Yow! Someone had a little bit of a crayon on the back. Sometimes the inside front cover would be very entertaining too. Oh my gosh. They got this one doesn't have art on the back cover. Look at that. They have an actual ad for a book about freaks for only $3.95. They know their target audience. Someone that reads these magazines would probably love a book about freak shows. All right, ladies and gentlemen. This is a very romantic cover. Like a Bride of Frankenstein, except if the Bride of Frankenstein was like a vampire woman. It really is, actually, if you think about it, it's very much like the Munsters, isn't it? She's kind of like Lily Munster to Herman Munster there. Maybe this is what Rob Zombie, if you had done the Munsters movie correctly, maybe this should have been their secret origin instead of meeting on a date. I was so disappointed last summer in that Munsters movie that Rob Zombie made. But what it takes is not someone like Rob Zombie to make the Munsters great. It takes someone like the guys that made Leave It to Beaver to do it. That's how it's funny. Okay. This one has about as much of a spine roll as you could possibly get. Look at that. That's like the mother of all spine rolls. But you can tell it was really heavily read by someone, but by a moron that likes to roll their book back, you know. Oh my goodness. That's not very nice. It's like, look at this violence. Violence. Oh my gosh. You ever see that movie Over the Edge about the juvenile delinquents in the 1970s in this planned community out in the middle of nowhere? And these kids, they show this educational film to the students in this high school or junior high or whatever to try to show them how bad vandalism and violence is. And they show bricks being thrown and glass breaking. And this one kid's like totally zonked out and he's going, oh, violence. Oh, I forget how exactly it went, but I imagine how he would have reacted to this. You ever see Over the Edge? That was a good movie. Told in new chilling picto-fiction. This is one of the great covers with the hippies. And you know, hippies would sometimes wear the severed heads of ghouls upside down on their head as hats. And, but you know, notice she has fangs, so she is a monster. So I guess it's okay that a hippie monster cuts apart another hippie monster. But they're all saying down with violence and love, not hate, yeah. Hippies are a little hypocritical, aren't they? This is one of the first ones I ever got. I remember great waves of nostalgia for this book here. So how are you guys doing? What are you guys going to dress up for on Halloween, man? What are you going to dress up for? Dress up for candy. I mean, what are you going to dress up as is what I meant. What you going to dress up as? What the heck? Hold on a second. I gotta double check something. Sometimes they would reuse artwork. They would reuse artwork. Yes, indeed. Okay, so see this? The next book I'm going to show you. Let's compare it. Now this is a 50-cent one from June of 1970, and this one is same artwork from October of 66. I think they figured that people, are these going to be read by 12-year-olds? And they're not going to read them for over 4 years. So if you printed this in 1966, it's probably safe to reuse the art in 1970 and no one's going to know. But they made his face a lot redder here. Yeah, but anyway, that's, how about that? Oh, I was so obsessed with the spine roll, I don't know if I gave you a close-up of the fantastic artwork. Look how romantic that is. Look at her looking at it. Yeah, buddy. Ooh, was that Wolfman in the original painting? Hold on a second. No, he was not. Look at that. The original painting. Notice there's no Wolfman back here. But in this redone painting, look, there's a Wolfman kind of watching. Or is he Igor? He's like a Wolfman Igor. Please, Igor, you impetuous young boy. Yes, indeed, Halloween. Then there'll be Thanksgiving, and then there'll be Christmas. Then there'll be New Year's. And who knows what's going to be happening. Well, it's weird. I have 2 copies of this issue, and no, I'm not selling either one of them. This one has 30 cents written on it, so it's some long distant garage sale. Someone sold that for 30 cents. This vampire lady is biting the finger of the wolf man. And the mummy is about to spear the vampire girl in the back. This is what happens in these cemeteries at night. Oh, look, buy one, get one free. Look at these t-shirts you could get. Wolfman, you got Eerie Magazine, Creepy, and Frankenstein. So you could get merchandise promoting the Warren magazines in an Eerie publication. My goodness. How wonderful. So what have you guys been up to this weekend? Anything interesting? Oh, everyone on YouTube is talking about the new South Park episode where they go into Kathleen Kennedy and Disney doing. Oh, see, this is recent. It's got a UPC code, so that's after the. It's from January of '81. To me, that's very recent. Look at this. Joe Biden and. What was the name of that lady that Joe Biden was grabbing like that? I think she had to move to Russia to be protected from the Biden crime family. April 1981. Yeah, so these were still being published up into the 80s. You see how this cover is a collage of greatest hits. And this one doesn't even have a gory cover. This is, I have a Science Fiction Digest magazine with this same painting on it. So they bought some paintings from another publisher and reused them. How about that? Okay, so that brings us to Witches' Tales. Now, on YouTube, you can get just about anything on YouTube. All of these, the horror comics, the pre-code horror comics, EC, and all the imitations of EC from Harvey and everyone else, they all go back. They didn't just come up in culture out of nowhere. They were all in the 30s and 40s and even into the 50s. There were horror radio shows on the radio. Television, people didn't start getting TV, most people, until the early 50s or mid 50s. Very few people had television in the late 40s. Television was first shown at the World's Fair in the 30s, and it was like going to be the new thing, but it got delayed because of World War II. So otherwise, people would have had, if the World War II hadn't happened, people would have started getting televisions in their homes in the early 40s. In Germany, in Hitler's Germany, they were broadcasting television and even live television during World War II. That's something a lot of people don't know. There was a documentary about that, and they had some actual kinescopes, but the average person in their home in Germany didn't have a TV, but they would have them in public places, and they would broadcast I don't know, those kind of rallies Hitler had and stuff. Anyway, radio had a show. There was actually a show called The Witch's Tale. You can find it on YouTube. And it had an old witch hosting it, and it was just like the old witch from EC Comics. It was The Witch's Tale, and that was in the 30s. But the more famous horror radio shows are the Inner Sanctum, Suspense, Escape. There was one called The Mysterious Traveler, but they would always have a host that would be the narrator, and then the story was acted out. And that's where all of those horror comics of the early 50s, and then the new wave of horror comics in the early 70s, House of Mystery, House of Secrets, Witching Hour, and of course all these magazines like Creepy and Eerie and these imitations of Creepy and Eerie. These don't really have hosts, in all honesty. I don't think they, They never did put hosts in these Eerie Publications books. I lied. Look, there's one now. But I don't know that it was consistent. That might have been the host that was in the original story. That this is probably right from the original story from the 50s, from wherever they stole this story. Oh, look at this. This record is a great one. And this record, you can, if you look around, you can find this record on YouTube. You can find all the sound effects records that you need from YouTube for your Halloween night fun. So my point is, if you love Warren magazines and Eerie Publications magazines, and then Marvel did a whole bunch of these magazines that were fantastic. Vampire Tales, Dracula Lives, Monsters Unleashed, Tales of the Zombie, Haunt of Horror. What else? There were some other ones. What were the other ones? Oh, well, tons of them. And they had Monsters of the Movies. That was their version of Famous Monsters. This is a beautiful painting. Look at this, man. They're just like tearing each other up. This is my eyes. They're gone. I'm blind. Oh, the pain. This is really. Look at this severed head there for no particular reason. Oh my goodness. Yeah. This is pretty insane stuff, ladies and gentlemen. What is this? Oh, it's voodoo. Someone's making all that happen to him with a voodoo doll, I guess. This is a good one. July of 73. That was right up. That was a good time. July of 73. This may have been the one that kid brought to school and became the hero. Another kid became a hero at the school for bringing a different kind of comic book. Actually, Jack Chick those little Jack Chick pamphlets that are this big, that you find at bus stops, bus station. People leave them on gas pumps, and they're meant to they're meant to scare you, but they're actually, you can debate all day whether it's appropriate, the level of scariness put into those, but what they were done is designed to make you repent and beg for forgiveness for your sins and everything, and they were scary, but they had some cool artwork in them, and sometimes they were kind of gory and stuff. They would show pretty, like there was one called Holy Joe about a guy in the army that was really religious, and his sergeant thought he was just a horrible person or something. I don't know. They showed some people shot up, in the war there, and I don't know. It was just stuff. So he got them from his church that he went to, and he brought them to school and sold them to us for, I don't know, a dime or a quarter, except for one that was about an exorcism. And he says, I'm not going to sell this to you guys. There's no way I can sell this. This one's too scary, and I'll get in trouble, because you'll have nightmares, whatever. This is third grade kids, bartering on the playground for comics, This one was also sold for definitely by that same person for 30 cents at some long ago garage sale. And then this one is one I discovered recently in the last couple years, from Meyer Greenblatt. He showed this one night on Four Color Fossils, and it's like the same company doing a Western book, but it's the same kind of ultra gore. And I thought, I gotta find that book. There's a whole bunch of these Great West books that have, but this cover really struck me. I had to seek that out. Okay, so unless there's some others in another box somewhere, and there might be, I think this is the extent of my Eerie Publications collection. But it's not the end of the show. Let's look at this magazine, Web of Horror. All new weird tales. Collector's edition. Let's look at this thing. Oof. There's the painting on the back. That, I believe, is a Ken Kelly painting. I could be wrong. Ooh, look at this Frankenstein monster mask. But this is also now this has better quality art than what we've been looking at. Look at this. Now this magazine does, look at the host there, it's a little weird spider. This is America's Nightmare magazine. It's from December of 1969. Here's some early Bernie Wrightson art. So apparently the spider guy is the host of the comic. Look at that wonderful Bernie Wrightson art. Let's see. In this, they have Alfred Payan, Sid Shores, Ralph Reese, Wayne Howard, Donald Norman, Bernie Wrightson, and Mike Kaluta. The writers are Nicola Cuddy. That's the first time in my life I pronounced that name. In my mind, I've always read it Cuddy. Nicola Cuddy. But I've never tried to pronounce it aloud before. I've never had been. And other writers that I've never heard of. Oh, wow, look at this. It's a comic art contest. It says your art here. So interesting. What are we running from? You decide you should collaborate with comic artist Ralph Reese on this Web of Horror contest centerfold. Finish the art in pencil or ink, paste over the balloons and legend panel, and letter in your own script. Send your entry to Web of Horror Comic Artist Contest, Major Magazines Incorporated. It's in New York. Sorry, no entries can be returned. Void where prohibited by law. Entries will be judged on skill and imagination. Prize-winning art will be published in Web of Horror. And the big first prize is a full-page story assignment at professional rates for your beginning as a comic artist. So it's the inside wrap. If you can pull it out, and you've got this 2-page spread, but you've got to draw what it is that they're all running from in fear, and then you've got to redo the word balloons and put in your own words. And then if you win the contest, they'll hire you as an artist for this magazine. But what I'm wondering is did this magazine go long enough that they ever had a winner? And I don't know, because this is the only copy I have of it. This is Bernie Wrightson art here. I mean, obviously, it's beautiful Bernie Wrightson art. This is issue number 1. Covers by Jeff Jones. Jeff Jones. I was incorrect. There were so many great artists there for a little bit in the late 60s, early 70s, horror-related artists, that it was just a great time. Here's October 71. I think this is the second issue, yeah, number 2. Number 2 of Hellrider. This was from Skywald that put out Psycho, but this was superhero motorcycle guy. This is the company that put out Nightmare and Psycho. People seek after this. Saul Brodsky was the editor, yeah. Because this character is created by the same guy that created the Ghost Rider. The Ghost Rider, not the Western Ghost Rider, but the Ghost Rider with a flaming head, skull head, and motorcycle. So some people say this character is the prototype for the later Ghost Rider that he would create like a year later or something. But anyway, this is a sought-after book because of that. It's got, man, this is beautiful. Only problem is there's a little bit of a tear down here, and so when I'm turning the pages, it kind of sticks on that. But that is probably something that happened before it was even sold, like when it was bundled together, being sent to the newsstand. That damage happened. There was oh yeah, here it is. There's also this really cool African American heroine called the Butterfly. She looks like that. So that's that. How about that one? And here's Psycho. I thought there were only 2 issues of Hellrider, but here they're advertising the 3rd issue of Hellrider on the back. Now, whether that was never published or maybe there were 3 issues. I only have issue 2. Will I ever have the other 2 issues? It's hard to say, because let me win the lottery first. My wife keeps thinking we're going to win the lottery. And we did. She keeps telling me, buy the lottery ticket. And it's like, oh, okay. It's embarrassing to me to buy a lottery ticket, because I always looked at the people that bought lottery tickets. It's like, oh, that chump. Look at him buying that ticket. It's like a tax on poor people, you know. And they just buy the lot. Now, you know, she'll tell me to buy. And then the other week I won we won $12. Exciting. Look at this. These swamp creatures were all the rage back then in the early 70s. You had Swamp Thing, you had Man Thing, and you, of course, had the Heap. The Heap was the original swamp creature from the golden age of comics. They brought him back for this. Oh, this is nice artwork here. Look at this nice artwork. This is a cut. This is a cut above. This is not like Eerie Publications. This is better stuff than that. Who is this artist? I like it's almost like they're a Richard Corbin, but not quite. What is it? Oh, it's Ralph Reese. Yeah, Ralph Reese is great. Look at this. So anyway, why is Ralph Reese not always on the tip of my tongue when I talk about these great artists from back then? He's really good. I was talking about something. I forgot what it was. Psycho. These magazines weren't easy to find. I would see them when we went to the PX in San Antonio. The PX, the newsstand at the PX would have these Psycho and Nightmare. And the only other place I ever saw them was at a bookstore in Hampton, Virginia, where we lived before. The thing that makes I mean, these are really just as good as Creepy and Eerie from Warren. The thing that the Warren books had were those the great catalog of ads in the back. Some people, I've heard people say they're annoyed by all the ads in the back of Warren magazines, and I think, are you insane? That's what was great. Poring over those ads and looking at all the cool monster stuff you could get. People that say they're annoyed by those ads are not people that I can relate to. Okay, here they're selling back issues of the first two Hell Riders and a crime machine, which was about, gangsters. And there's back issues of Nightmare. There's Pablo Marcos with a mask that I guess, is that meant to be a mask? Maybe not. It's just a nice pinup to put on your wall, right? Actually, it almost looks like Separated at Birth. Can I recreate that? Can I recreate it? I don't know. Separated at Birth. My goodness, man. Look at that bug-eyed monster there. These are so much fun. If they just had ads in the back. I need more ads. It's so weird that, I had my old VCR. I would have that remote control ready to zap out all the commercials and what I was recording, and now that was the coolest part. It's like I cut out these commercials from 1980, and now I can see that show that I was recording on DVD or a box set or whatever, but those commercials were what was neat. It's weird how things change, right? Here's another issue of Psycho. Look at that guy, man. I would rather he be president any day than Joe Biden. But of course, we're going to elect Donald Trump again. This is a very European, very Spanish feel, this artwork. It's very much looks like what you would have seen at Warren with Vampirella. Probably from the same art studio. Who is this artist? Well, okay. There's his name. Fedori? I don't know. Very nice. It has that European feel. Look at this ad for Hell Rider. That's so great. That reminds me of Spain Rodriguez's underground art. He had a hero called Trash Man. I remember this story somewhat. These hippies are on someone's grave, and this dead person comes up and is smelling the flower. It was very. I'm trying to remember the twist. It's hard to remember a twist ending after 50 years. What is the story on the? I got to read these books again. Oh my gosh. These are so much fun. What did I just see? I'm hearing a cat noise. Man, they redo this art. Look at this. There's the art again, and then on the next page, is that the cat snoring? There's the art again. Okay. This episode will surely end soon. because we're already at an hour and 15 minutes, and these things don't go that long. And I'm probably not going to be able to do another show until next weekend. Well, I might get a package during the week. Is that the chair? It sounds like a cat, but I'm wondering if it's this leather chair I'm sitting in. I gotta check on what that noise is. Look at that. Well, I won a prize from Captain Strange-Life and Horror Mike's. Do you hear that? I think that's Drew snoring. Let's go check. I won a prize of an issue of Haunt of Fear, an original EC comic, and 2 Hammer movie box sets that I'm eager to watch with my wife. So those, he said he was going to order. He said he'd send them in a week. So that's about now. So maybe they'll come before this weekend. If they do, well, I'll probably still wait till next weekend because I got to stop doing so many shows because I don't. Well, I can't really do them during the week. It's difficult. And Charlton 66 is sending me some cool stuff because he's the nicest guy, one of the nicest guys in the world, I'm telling you. What is all that? Oh my gosh, you gotta look at this, guys. Hold on. There's Drew the dog and both cats, and they're all together. Oh my gosh, that is so cool. Am I getting a good picture of this? Yeah. Drew and the cats all together, man. When it gets cold like this, they forget that, dog, cat, they're going to share that bed, man. That is so cool. My wife's going to love this. Where are we at? I'll tell her, an hour and 16 minutes in, you won't believe how great that's great, man. That's what that noise was. I think it was Drew making that noise. Here's another issue of Psycho. That's just a great name for a magazine. Probably one of the greatest magazine names of all time. Back issue department. Here's back issues of Psycho, back issues of Nightmare. And you see they haven't published that long. There's not that many issues available. Back issues of Hellrider and Crime Machine. Oh my gosh, this guy's just hitting this guy with an axe. Can you believe that? Shocking violence. And they're burning people. Oh my gosh, can you believe it? But I'm glad I got these books when I could, when they were really cheap. My goodness, I want to see who this is. Is this Tom Sutton? Has to be. I like how they have all the titles of all the stories and all here. It's cool. But the one that I remember seeing when I was a little kid at the PX was this cover. This cover really struck me. The classic Creeps. It's just such a great painting. It looks a little wonky. The side of Dr. Five's head looks a little wonky, but I don't mind. It's gorgeous to me. The classic Creeps. This is just a fantastic cover. That was September of '73. So that means I was starting 3rd grade when I saw that, looking back at me from the newsstand. I didn't buy it at that time. I bought it later. This is a November '73 issue. But, you know, a lot of times my mom wouldn't let me buy them.